Welcome, everyone, to Empowering Adult Learners, Grants, Leadership, and Community Engagement. We are really excited to have you here celebrating AFL Week with us and bringing the focus back to our adult learners in this session. We're going to cover a few things. We're going to talk a little bit about adult learners as part of COABE's commitment to adult learners, opportunities, and we're going to encourage you and invite you at the end to take action. But first, we are going to introduce ourselves, our three presenters today, and I'm going to pass it over first to Chrislia.
Hello, everybody. My name is Crislia Griman. I am originally from Caracas, Venezuela. I am currently living in Willimantic, Connecticut. I arrived here in 2021. Since then, I was studying at ISCON Adult Education. Since that, I am having a lot of opportunities, like to go to our community college to get an advanced certificate on English. ISCOM provide me a lot of resources, like to go to study a family literacy program. Actually, this is my third year in this program. And this year has been incredible to me because, for instance, in March, I had the opportunity to attend my first national conference because I was in COABE National Conference. So I was very excited to attending this webinar today with you.
As you can see, we have some amazing learners in our program. My name is Kristen Hempel. I am the director of a regional program, EastCon, up here in the northeast corner of Connecticut. We serve 21 towns and get to work with Crislia, as well as many other fantastic learners in our region. I've been active with the Connecticut State Association case, as well as the Region 1 representative for COABE now for about 5 years, where I chair the Students as Leaders Task Force.
And my name is Erin Babornik. When I started with COABE, I was the Students as Leaders Coordinator. Thus my involvement and my friendship with Kristen that has grown through engaging in that task force work. And I'm now the Initiatives Administrator. And I'm going to turn it over to Kristen to get us started today.
Thanks, Erin. I've got to say that over the past few years, we have really seen our learner membership just explode, and that has been wonderful to be a part of. It's exciting to watch our learners become more active with COABE and witness the growth of this membership base, because it elevates their voice on a national stage and our voice as adult education programs. Part of why they're joining is because of wonderful programs that you're going to hear about today. But I just want to emphasize, it's that high level training and resources that COABE's providing. It's the networking opportunities. It's the life insurance that's available for our adult learners. But you'll also hear more about this as we go forward. So you will hear over and over that COABE is committed to our adult learners. We listen, we learn, we develop. This is an ongoing process. And one of the things that is so important and is just vital is that we take that time to really reach out and hear from our learners about what's important to them, what they need, and how we can continue to improve. We know the world's changing all the time. That means we need to be changing too. One of the things I want to underscore for you here is we do have a National Program Succeed When Learners Lead initiative grant. And I expect that the opening for applications for that will be in the near future. It's announced at our annual conference, and I'm really hoping that we'll continue to see exciting new perspectives on how programs are supporting learner leadership, and that people are applying for this grant to not only to shine the light on what they're doing, but also to share it so that we can learn from each other's best practices and continue to grow as professionals and as programs around the country.
And I know you can tell just by listening to Kristen, who is a board member, and as she said, the chair of the Students as Leaders committee or task force is that there is a real passion for ensuring that we have opportunities for adult learners, because there is no reason for us to exist if it were not for our adult learners. And AFL Week is when, yes, we're celebrating the great work that we do as programs, but we're also celebrating the successes and the commitment that our adult learners have to acquiring skills and being connected to resources and tools to help them achieve their goals. So COABE provides opportunities to our adult learners. And one thing that I absolutely love about it is that it's free. All of these opportunities that we're going to talk about are completely free, including free COABE membership. I know I put free on this slide quite a bit because I do want to underscore, I think sometimes in our world, when we hear free, we think there's a catch somewhere, and there isn't. It really is all for free. And so please encourage adult learners to sign up for COABE membership, because that's how they hear about these opportunities. You don't have to be the person who is sharing it with your students or with your teachers in your program. We would be able to share that directly. And if you're wondering, well, who exactly is an adult learner? So for our sake, we define an adult learner as anybody who's taking an adult education, like a WIA Title II or an adult literacy class or service in the past 5 years. So yes, there are probably people working within your program who have completed, who would be considered adult learners. If you are somebody who has engaged in an adult literacy class, like you've been enrolled, you recently got a high school equivalency in the past 5 years, you get free COABE membership. I feel like Oprah, right? You get COABE membership and you get it. I do really want to shout out Kristen and EastCon here as well, because when it comes to learner membership, she is very committed. COABE has the option where you can actually enroll learners in batch. So you don't have to ask each learner to go in and become a member of COABE. You can say, this is something included in your class and your enrollment within our program. And then you can send COABE a spreadsheet with all of that information. You can find that on the membership page on the COABE website. And that is something that Kristen has done. And so that's how we've gotten connected to incredible people like Chris Leah, is because we had that direct connection. And I'm so grateful that we do, because we've been able to share really incredible opportunities like the ambassador training. And this ambassador training brings student empowerment to learners across the nation in a variety of ways: online, hybrid, in person. I have state associations, state directors reaching out and saying, we need this training. Let's bring it to our conference. Let's bring it to our state. And this is, again, something that COABE provides for free. And we have over 300 ambassadors and growing. It seems like every month now there's another ambassador training. And it's really helping states to advance their advocacy, but also to connect adult learners to skills that are just essential skills when it comes to advocating within their communities. Right? If you can advocate for adult education, you can advocate for whatever it is that is important and meaningful to you. So it really empowers civic engagement within our communities as well. Now, we have, again, many more opportunities, but for this next one, I'm going to turn it over to Chris Leah.
Thank you, Erin. Another important resource is Google Scholars. A Google Career Certificate helps adult learners to gain the skills necessary to high-demand jobs with a median wage of $76,000 per year. COABE is also providing a mentor to provide guidance and support for adult education learners. I would like to explain a little more about my experience as Google Scholars. And the last year, I had the opportunity um, to make a research in COABE website, and I watched the opportunity to apply for a Google scholarship. I always wanted to study a digital marketing and e-commerce certificate with Google at the Coursera platform. But sometimes the economic issues don't permit me to doing more things. But thanks to this opportunity, I can apply and I was accepted. So I started this program that is very important for my professional background because I have a Bachelor of Arts, but I have a professional experience in digital marketing field. So this kind of certificate permit me to show to the employees that I have all the things that is necessary to gain a new job and to advance more in my career. So I deeply recommend to adult learners that apply for this kind of resource because it's free and you can gain all the knowledge that you need if you want to seek jobs or if you want to change for another field of if you can put more information in tech fields like cybersecurity, data analytics, user experience, project management. You can learn more about these kind of things and you can put this information for your program too. So I deeply recommend that you apply for this because it's important for your career. I also have the opportunity to share some experience about the COABE National Conference into the Compass newsletter. That is a tool that COABE share with learners every month. I can put my ideas about this incredible experience because I honestly feel that adult learners must attend to this national conference because it's huge. It's so inspiring. I also can say to you that a COABE National Conference is where inspiration blooms because you can meet people, you can obtain inspiration about their life stories because these people really want to advance more in their life and it's so inspirational. They are like a rock stars. This is a huge and an incredible experience for adult learners, sorry, and I wanted to share my ideas about this with another people, like adult learners. Also, I invite you to share ideas or experiences with COABE newsletter because it's a huge opportunity to you. If you want to write, this is my case, so if you want to share with another, it's perfect to you.
It's tough to come after her, but I want to talk to you about something else that I think is incredibly exciting. So we all know about MSGs, right? Our measurable skills gains, and we the feds collect those, and they're able to report out on our successes in academic measures, as well as employment and income, et cetera, et cetera. But part of what we've been talking about throughout COABE is the importance of really looking at this longitudinally, right? We know that the work that we're doing is making a difference now in our classrooms, and we know we can look at these MSGs and the federal reports, and we see the impact for the quarters after that. But we know that what we're doing impacts the families of our learners. And we know that it impacts the communities around our learners, that these are what we're providing can't be just captured in these MSGs. So part of what we've initiated is this alumni study. And it is incredibly important that programs and learners sign up to participate, because we want to be able to turn around and say, listen, this, what we're doing, you know, this little bit of funding that we get from the federal level, yes, it's making an incredible impact today, tomorrow, next year, 10 years from now. We can see it, we can track this, and we can provide stories and data that back up how critical those dollars become in terms of the lives of our learners, their children, and our communities. So part of what I've done at the program level is at graduation, you know, I've printed these out as posters and put them up. You know, all the learners have to walk by it and make sure, you know, okay, see if you can scan that in. You know, we send it out and blast to our learners. Just the more that we can do as a community to provide this this data, these stories, the more that we'll be able to continue to provide these kinds of experiences for our learners going forward. So please pay attention to that. I also am really excited about this initiative that was just rolled out at our last conference. So as Erin mentioned, COABE does define a learner as someone who has taken a WIOA Title II or adult literacy class within the last 5 years. But this program here provides 3 different kinds of funding opportunities. The first one is for current adult learners. We've all sat down and had those conversations with learners where, you know, they've been doing great, they've had great momentum, and then something just hits, right? And it's a roadblock. It's, you know, a certain amount of rent that they need. It's tires that have blown, something that's going to impact their ability. Maybe, you know, that they need a new laptop or a laptop in order to participate, and they just don't have the funds to make it over that hurdle and keep going. This has a stream of funding for adult learners to apply to make those ends meet. All right, so this is for people who are engaged, making progress, excited to be here, and life throws them a curveball. And we want to be able to be there as their partner, COABE as their partner, to help them move through that. The next opportunity is for programs that, again, you know, they need that last dollar in order to complete a project, an initiative, something else that, you know, came out of nowhere. I don't know. I think we had our heater blow, right? You know, that wasn't in my budget. So trying, you know, COABE, you could again turn to COABE if there's a crisis, and you can apply for this, or just it can be a crisis, or it can just be something else, an initiative that you're really trying to get going that's going to make a difference for your program and your learners. There's funding available. Now, the third option, all right, Krislia mentioned being in family literacy. Well, we know that a lot of our learners have kiddos. And those kiddos get to the place, right, where they're graduating high school in one way or another, and they're looking at college, and college can be expensive, but they're looking, part of the reason perhaps for these individuals, these students, that they've stuck with it and they've developed that tenacity it's in part because of what they've seen their parents demonstrate, right? They have seen the commitment that their parents have to education, and they want to keep going. Well, COABE wants to make sure that their parents' legacy continues, and we're there to provide scholarships for the children of our adult learners to help them go ahead and make it to that next level of education. I just think that that's just super. I get goosebumps when I talk about it. But so again, there are 3 different ways that you can access the Education and Elevate, or the Educate and Elevate Foundation. One's for adult learners, one's for programs, and one is scholarships for the kids of our learners. So we talked a little bit about the COABE conference. So this year we will be in Texas, and on Monday we are going to have our 2nd annual Adult Learner Summit. And like Krislia was saying, it really is a spectacular program to be a part of. I think that everyone there was moved last year in ways that we hadn't been expecting. This year, I'm excited to announce that the learners who are participating in the summit will actually have special sessions with the keynote speakers. How cool is that? And I also wanted to let you know that the topics for 3 of our panel sessions that we'll be hosting. So one is leadership in your program and beyond. The next is breaking through barriers. And the last one is growing your network. Growing your network and advancing your career using social media. So we're continuing to support the sharing of stories, and also continuing to, like we said earlier, listening to our learners and providing some of the additional experiences that they want through this summit. So make sure you sign up. Bring your learners. So this is a picture from last year, where, as Crislia said, it was just inspiring moment after inspiring moment, with learners connecting with people from around the country, sharing their stories, empowering and motivating each other. So it really underscored for me that adult education isn't a destination, it's a journey, and we're all in it together. And so this was a way to connect with some of our colleagues, our peers, from around the country, and help everyone learn from each other, support each other, advance each other. Everybody walked away having shared something and having learned something.
And I'll just say, it was a lot of work, but I am so grateful that we did it, because it's, I got to meet Crislia, and let me tell you, as like sparkling as she is on this webinar, she just has a presence. And I remembered her. Right? I kept emailing because I was like, oh my goodness, she's incredible. But everybody was at that conference, and it was just, I will say, at the Learner Summit, if you join for those sessions, which we had packed rooms. So we're expanding in Dallas because it was standing room only. And there were not enough tissues for all of the stories shared. But I highly encourage you to, as Kristen said, see if there's a way that your program can help sponsor some students to bring them to the summit. And of course, pay attention as soon as registration for the conference opens, because there may be opportunities for scholarships and mini grants to assist, but that's something to start thinking about now. So what else? So what can you do, right? We want to leave you with some action, because it is AFL week, right? We are excited. We are pumped up. We are celebrating. And I wanted to keep our action items pretty simple, right? Things that you could easily do, whether it is within your classroom, within your program, or within your state. So first, encourage your adult learners to become members of COABE. Or, as Kristen has done in her program, include that as one of the perks of signing up, of enrolling in adult education classrooms. Because we acknowledge at COABE that programs have a limited amount of capacity, not just funding capacity, but staffing capacity in terms of what you can do. And let COABE take some of that off of your plate, right? Let us help connect learners to some of those student leadership initiatives that can get those ideas going, that can be kind of grassroots within your program, so that you have learners coming to you with those ideas, with that type of information. So encourage them to become members, and then they will automatically get that COABE Connects newsletter every month, which will give an overview of all of the different opportunities that we talked about today and more, because we only have so much time. And then secondly, start thinking about how you can get learners to Dallas. So registration is completely free to the conference for adult learners. That's an over $600 value, because again, we just want to celebrate with learners. We want to connect people to those opportunities. So consider how you might be able to supplement for travel and lodging. And we'll have a lot more information coming out about it because it's really exciting. But it's never too early to start talking about it and to start bringing it up in those staff meetings, or when you say, hey, our program just has too much money. This is, I'm sure, happens all the time. But please keep COABE in mind when you are looking for resources, tools, and opportunities for adult learners, because again, we provide it, and we provide it at no cost to learners and at no cost to you or your program.
Well, thanks for joining to this exciting webinar. I also want to say thanks, COABE, for all the opportunities that you gave for adult learners, because adult learners are experts facing fears and overcome challenges. It's time for advocate for adult education. Thank you so much.